We are building the welcome message project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. Previously, we have seen star args and star kwargs. Basically, star args is like variable number of arguments into a function, which get which form a tuple, and then we can iterate over them. On the other hand, star kwargs are essentially, let's say, named keyword arguments, which inside a function become like a dictionary, and then again we can iterate on them. However, a question that comes up is, can I use these together? As in, can a single function accept both args and, let's say, kwargs? The answer is yes. However, keep in mind that the order must always be positional arguments, args, and then kwargs. Now, we have seen this with positional arguments and args. For example, when we added index to our, let's say, short form function, we had to do that before the, let's say, all the words that we are providing. In fact, taking that forward, the kwargs must be given at the very end. Now, once again, examples make things very clear. So let's just take an example. Let's say I come back to my code and I extend my short form function by saying that, look, my player is allowed to pass in some keyword arguments, which I lump in this dictionary called add-ons. Remember, star keyword arguments is basically inside the function a dictionary, and my player will provide these, the keys and the values for this. Now, I will say, look, my two keys that are allowed. So remember, add-ons the dictionary. I will just run a for loop, let's say, on this dictionary. So I say for keys in, let's say, add-ons. Add-ons. So basically, I'm running a for loop on the dictionary, which means iterating through all the keys. Now, if key is, let's say, if keys is given by, say, prefix, so my user wants to add this, let's say, before the final. So I just go and say final is equal to, let's say, add-ons. Remember, add-ons is a dictionary. So add-ons, let's say, keys plus, say, final. On the other hand, if my keys is equal to, say, suffix, so the player wants this to be added at the end. Of course, I must have a colon over here. So I just go and say final is equal to, let's say, final, plus, say, add-ons, say, keys. Now, it's always possible that my user provides some other, let's say, keyword argument, which means that the dictionary will have some other key. Now, if that happens, so any key that is not prefix or suffix, I just say, well, print, you are not good at typing. Are you? Okay, I made a small mistake, so let me just fix that. Okay, so not good at typing, and I'll put a comma over here. Right now, notice the way I've written this code. I am making sure that no matter what key the player provides, in fact, it's kind of taken care over here. So there'll never be a key error. That's just the way I've written it. Let's see this working. So I just go and say Python 3 minus I, let's say WM. When I do this, notice my short form now is, well, I just say, well, so let's say SF is given by short form, say 0. Let's say I provide my name, say, YByte. Let's just say I provide this, and I add in a prefix here saying that, well, smart maybe, right? So SAMART. Now this prefix is a string. It ought to be a string. There can be an error caused when I give not a string. So we can catch that, but I'm letting it be right now. Notice my SF is now smart VW. I can try to give a prefix and a suffix. So for example, suffix here is, let's say, brilliant. I mean, just something, right? When I do this, notice my SF is smart VW brilliant. The reason everything becomes uppercase is because, remember, the final has been formed over here, but the return statement is inside the else. Obviously, no error has happened through this, and I have ended up with a, let's say, uppercase statement. Now, something interesting will happen here. In fact, if I were to, let's say, provide a suffix or a prefix, which is, say, an integer, let's say 100, this will lead me to basically a type error once again. That's because when I try to do this concatenation, I'll end up with a type error. And because again, I can only concatenate string to a string. However, remember once again, the finally statement will always get done, but the SF would be a none type, right? So this we have seen before. Basically, I kind of covered for the key error, but there are still errors possible, but I'm not particularly, handling them beyond whatever I'd handled earlier. So, let's say the point here is that I'm able to use a normal positional argument, args and kwargs inside the same function. Now, before I wrap up, let's say I give one more key over here. Let's say this key is say mid is, let's say, good. I just do something. Now, this will result in something quite interesting. It will have me create the result. All right. It will print this. You're not good at typing, are you? Because I gave an extra key into my dictionary, but it will anyway get me the result, because remember, there's no error here per se. I'll go into the else statement and the result would come out. Yeah? So just a kind of, good to think about this, right? I hope you found this interesting. In general, if you think this way of learning works for you, look at our website. We always learn Python by applying them to fun activities. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.